been streaming actually live since, I don't know, January? Something like that. Regardless, we are back with some Dungeons and Dragons in the world of Boridil. All right. Now, be careful. We are live, gentlemen. We are live. I
Wait,
had to
are we
share.
actually?
We are live. Yeah, my internet can handle it. I tested it yesterday.
I've already turned off
Holy
the
shit.
soundboard.
It's
For the two viewers out there,
Do we actually have viewers?
not yet,
not to take a
but
stab at you or
maybe.
anything.
I think he meant us if we were to go on it. There'd be
Yeah.
viewers.
No, y'all don't have to at all. I'm not honestly worried about it. It's actually just easier to stream it and then just send it from Twitch to YouTube than it is to have it downloaded, have to upload it overnight, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Oh
weird.
yeah,
Okay.
you're talking about hours,
Yeah.
several gigs.
Exactly.
And then if you get a connection interrupted, have fun with that.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
didn't it say it took you like 3 days at one time?
Well, yeah, but that's because it was a 9 gig file, and I've since been able to cut the
Oof.
files to 800 megabytes. So
Okay.
it's all tedious, settings work and stuff like that. But anyway,
okay.
last session, Jeff, what'd we do? I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
I asked a lot of questions.
That's true. So last session we started with you guys waking up outside of the slums near Dr. Gear's house. You guys had previously gone on an expedition to collect some big fucking teeth from an unknown source, which you ended up finding out was in fact a hydra. You were able to bring back quite a load of teeth, and you were able to, one, get your documents that said that you were not infected by whatever infection is going on in Cragstorm. Two, you got paid to do it, and after you guys got paid and you were about to head into Cragstorm, you noticed that your companion Octa was missing, and you weren't really sure what happened, but you saw signs of a struggle. So you were looking around for footprints. You guys ended up picking up a trail that led into Cragstorm. You guys got into Cragstorm, no issues with your new documentation that said you were all good. And you started asking questions, leaving Nishan behind to watch the cart while you guys asked some questions. You found that most of the guards had probably already been paid to keep quiet, so they were not very helpful. But some of the townsfolk were. And you have a pretty good idea, general location of where she could be, which is down in this bottom portion of the town. You know that this area is held by the family named Cosero. You don't really know anything about the history of the town or this family, but obviously if a single family controls a good portion of the town, they probably mean business. So you guys decided, okay, well, we'll go and look for her later. But at that point, Anara said that she was going to go and take a look, and she'd meet back up with you guys later. So when you guys went to go shopping, as Jeff likes to do, she went her own way with her mask and her cloak to try to figure out what was going on. You guys don't know how she'll meet up with you guys, but she has a fairly good idea she'll be able to find you before you find her. So she set off on her own way to get intel while you guys went and did your shopping. You guys had met a blacksmith named Margaret, and you also met her, what's it called? Apprentice named Ivan, yeah, who seems to be very, very skittish and not very good at what he's doing, but he's one of the only ones that I guess wanted to step up to the plate, so she's trying her best to teach him. After you guys met her, you went to the general store and met a gentleman named Jay, owner of Quirks and Market. Jay was in the process of selling you guys a sending stone when a fellow by the name of Firo, with two pretty beefy dudes following him, came inside and started asking. It's actually spelt like that. It's not the Pokemon. Anyway, he started telling Jay that he owes them money, even though he had just paid, and the reason was because someone else didn't pay, so the rest of the shops have to pick up the slack and pay extra. So you guys get the idea that this Fiero guy who works for the Martillo family, they somehow own all the merchants and force them to pay the family funds, but you don't know exactly what the terms are. After asking Jay a couple questions, he said that the only reason things are bad is because of the whole lockdown of the city, with this whole mystery sickness causing fear in the royal family. Other than that, things are typically good when it comes to the Martillos. And then we ended up ending right as Jeff was buying some stuff. So you bought a couple different gemstones and 3 scrolls. Did you actually buy those scrolls, Jeff?
I don't think I've actually bought the scrolls.
Okay. Let me look at your character sheet real quick. Yeah, you got the Jasper, but you didn't. You got Jasper and a shitty map that you had made, I think. But yeah, you didn't end up buying the scrolls. He, I think, was pricing them around 500 gold apiece, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you guys are just finishing up talking to Jay. If there's any questions you want to talk to Jay. Oh wait, and the last part of the recap, Jeff, you had asked if there were any other shops around, and he pointed that there were quite a few shops down this way. There was a store that sold magical items that you had asked about, and there was also an herbalist that was closer to the town walls, right over here for everyone that can see. Right where the arrow originates is where an herbalist lives. And with that, we will go ahead and pick up. You guys are in the middle of Jay's Quirks and Market. What would you like to do?
What was the last thing we said to Jay?
The last thing you had asked was if there was an herbalist or anybody that had sold magical items and stuff, and he had pointed on your map just a little bit south of the location you're at is where some enchanters live, and then to the west is where an herbalist lives.
Okay, well, I'll thank Jay for his time and his wares, and I'm ready to go. If everyone else is ready to go.
Adeline looks at you and says, "I am ready."
Okay. Well, I tell Jay to take care, and I tell him I'll keep an eye out for him. Hopefully, we'll get these people off his back.
I probably wouldn't mess with the Martillos too much, especially being new folk to town. They will have no problem disposing of you.
Okay, then. Well, take care. Try not to get roughed up too much, then.
Thank you for your kindness. You all have a wonderful day.
You too.
Sorry, I was muted for a moment.
No, you're good.
If you'd like, should we visit the enchanter store?
Adeline and Nishan both nod their head, and Nishan goes, "I do enjoy magical items."
Shadow enjoys magical trinkets.
Yeah, I'll go to the shop. I'm ready to go to the magic shop. You guys are too.
All right.
Yeah, we'll head that way then.
Very good. So you guys walk outside of the store, and you start going down about, well, that's in feet. That is incorrect. But anyway, you go down a couple houses. Some of them look like they're just residents that live right on the market square. So more than likely, the owners of some of these shops live right next to their shops. And then you come upon a sign that says M&M Enchantment.
You said, like, the letter M?
Yep,
M&M's?
M Enchantment.
Can you like write that out, please?
Sure. M Enchantment.
Wow. I hate it.
Nishan will open the door and walk inside. And as he does so, I assume all of you follow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Shadow's gonna burst in and immediately ask, "What does M in M stand for?"
So as you burst in and ask this question, first thing you notice, all of you notice, is that the floor is pretty bare. There's not a lot of room for things that they post, like to sell. The walls are lined with what looks to be just plain leather armor, other garments, and mail armor and stuff. Some scale mail, a couple weapons and stuff for decoration purposes and for purchase. But looking at them, nothing looks. They almost look like they're just mundane, regular pieces of equipment. You also notice that there are about 5 little gnome children that are running around in circles in the middle of this. They have a little red ball and they're throwing it at each other, almost like a game of dodgeball, except for you're not exactly who's trying to get who, and when they get hit, it doesn't look like anything happens, but they continue to play. So you can hear these children having a blast. Behind the counter, you see the very top portion of frizzled blue hair that is more than likely the owner, but you can only see the top portion of his hair. And other than that, it's just the children. As you ask your question, Shadow, you can hear on the other side, M&M Enchantments, welcome. I can't see you. Come up to the desk, please. And you can see his hand is waving at you.
Shadow will walk up to the desk. Hello?
So as you peek across, you look and you can see the frizzled white hair of a gnome. And you look at him and he's got some big old goofy looking glasses on that make his eyes look like googly eyes in a way. And he looks up and you is, so you're the one asking questions. Well, my name is Marvin. I run this little store with my wife, Marvine. And we are M&M Enchanters. So what can we do you for?
I think we came here to look around
Well,
and possibly shop.
we do have a very small selection of things that you could buy. Really what we do is you put in a purchase request and then we fill it out, you know? My wife and I, we do all types of enchantments and stuff. So if you got some items you need enchanted, we could probably do it for you. Hey, Marvin! He shouts towards the back room and you see a tiny gnome, a little smaller than this gentleman with the same sort of hairstyle. It's frizzled and it stands straight up, but it's pink. And she comes out, hello! How can we help ya?
I love the voices. Now we're just coming in to check this place out. We heard you sell magical items, and your husband said you mainly focus in enchantments, correct?
Yes. We're the ones that deal with all the magical items in town. So if you need something enchanted, if you have it, we can make it happen. Otherwise, it'll probably... if you look around the walls, those are also up for sale. You could buy those, and you could end up getting them enchanted here. Now, the thing is, it's better to have your own materials to get it enchanted. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty costly. I won't lie to you. She looks over to her husband, and he goes, she's the one that makes the prices, and I just do the enchanting, you know? Don't make me seem like the bad guy, Marvin. Go on to the back where you're worth it or something. Oh, you're going to hear it tonight after dinner. And then she walks into the back. You get the sudden sense of a stew. You can smell some sort of like potato stew being cooked in the back, and it smells heavenly. Marvin looks back at you. Well, you know, sometimes you gotta rough them up to get them to do what you want, huh?
You said these were gnomes?
Yes.
We said what?
No, you said they were gnomes?
Yeah, gnomes.
I feel like I'm playing with World of Warcraft goblins.
This is amazing.
How you doing?
Hey, hey there, Marvin. Is it possible to enchant robes?
Enchant the robes, ah. Are you saying you want your robe enchanted? He starts to come out and he takes a gander at your robes. Looks like you probably never washed it, huh? Got a
No,
stain
these are
right
quite new,
here.
actually.
Oh wait, yeah, you did
I
buy
got these last
some new ones.
week. Yeah, I got these last
That's
week.
right,
They're
yeah.
blue.
Ah, yeah. So what are you trying to enchant exactly? What do you want the robe to do?
I don't know what it can do. Well, what exactly? I'm new to this enchantment deal. What
Well, do you
exactly can
want
it
it to
do?
be able to change colors whenever you say so?
Like, how fast we talking here?
Well, honestly, it'd just be a thought, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's red. Another thought, boom, it's white. Oh, you spilled something on it, boom, it's clean. We can
Would it
make a
be able to
self-cleaning
match?
robe.
Would it be able to match the colors behind me?
So almost like a camouflage. I'm
Yeah.
sure we could make something like that happen, but in all honesty, that wouldn't come cheap, just so you know.
No. I'm just trying to figure out the possibilities.
In all honesty, if you desire it, we can make it happen somehow.
Do you have installment plans?
I'd have to ask the
Eh.
wife. I don't know exactly how she feels about
Okay.
people owing us money. But, in all honesty, if you keep it quiet between you and me, I'd be okay with it.
Okay, just a thought. Thank you, appreciate it.
I'd more than likely have to make you pay at least 25% of the charge up front, though, just to make sure.
And okay, something else, some other qualities. Can you make it like defend me better, like from blunt forces and whatnot?
Oh, sure, that's pretty easy. That's something we do for the guards around here and some of the guys that work for the Martillos.
Okay. And this enchantment, is it some like how often does it need to be maintained? Like or upkeep? Is there like any upkeep to it or
No. Once
and
it's done, it's done. As long as it doesn't get ruined, you're good to go. I have seen some folks that got some armor enchanted, and then all of a sudden they got in some big old hustle and bustle, and they ended up cracking a good portion of the armor, and it lost its enchantment. So you gotta be careful. So, especially with it being robes, more than likely, if you get it shredded, it's gone.
Okay.
Likewise, we could probably make it fireproof too, just to make it a little easier for you.
Oh, I do like that.
Yeah. Looking at a couple of your friends here, it seems like you guys like to play with fire a little bit. He looks over at Adeline, who's got some like charred remains of his armor where the clothy portions are. He looks at Nishan, who has definitely not bought a new robe yet, so he looks quite awful.
So could I? Oh, sorry. Go on.
No. Go ahead. Customers first.
Would it be possible to add like the blunt force, the fire protection, and the color change and camouflage all in one package, or is that too much for one item?
We could. It's just probably gonna take a little extra time.
Okay.
In all honesty, I could see, man, if you do some sort of, what kind of materials you got? You have anything that could speed up the process? And
I don't even know what materials are needed.
Neither do I. That's why we gotta try it.
Okay. I mean, I do dabble in magic, so I might be able to help out the process.
Yeah, we can talk when you can actually look at your sheet as to what you would want to give up towards the payment amount.
I'm sure I can't afford it right now at all. I'm just curious what it would be in the
Looking
future.
at your gold amount, you definitely could not.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
You definitely could not. You have 57 gold.
Even if I didn't give away all that gold and stuff, I still wouldn't be able to.
Probably not.
So, no, I'm just I want to ask him, based off you guys supplying me all the supplies, me buying them from you, how much would this be costing me?
Let's see, that's 3 enchantments all in one. It's probably going to take probably a week and a half to do it, just because, trial and error and stuff. You're looking at around probably 10,000 gold.
I see.
And that's on the cheap side, too, because I kind of like you. You look like a good bunch of folk.
Oh, Appreciate you.
Not to mention you
What
didn't
question?
talk back to me like my wife does, and that upsets me very
Oh.
much. What? I didn't say nothing. Get back to cooking. God, she's got good ears. Sometimes you can't even whisper. You guys can all notice that when he does whisper, he's talking at his normal volume, and when he's talking normally, he's shouting at you, kind of.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I asked him, is he familiar with a bag that has like unlimited space into it?
Oh,
Like
a bag of holding! Yeah, we got plenty of those for sale.
Okay. No, I mean I have one myself. I'm just curious.
But why only have one when you could have 2 or 5? Not
How
to
much would
mention,
another bag cost?
probably around 400 gold. And the thing
okay.
is, I throw in an enchantment to change its color on the spot, but only one time.
Okay. So you mean I can just
Yeah, for 400
So
gold, you buy a bag and I'll enchant the color for you. Bada bing, bada boom. All easy.
Okay. I've always wondered though, what happens when you put a bag of holding in a bag of holding?
That's something you don't want to do, let me tell you what. I don't know the whole physicality to it, but if you put a bag of holding into a bag of holding, it kind of makes like some sort of portal appear for just a moment, and then all your shit goes everywhere, you know? So if you're hiding some bodies in there, they go splat, everybody's covered in blood, and now you got to figure out who did it. And that's something you don't really want to mess with the gods about, you know? They ask a lot of good questions, and sometimes you get tripped up and you have to pay a mighty fine.
Well,
Wait, so you mean
I can just imagine
bag
this is the
disappears?
bag for bodies, this is the bag for money, this is the bag for weapons.
Yeah, and if you wanted, I could do a stitching on it to put a big B or something for bodies, if that's what you're into, but don't let anyone know I did it.
Of course not. Okay, well, I can't exactly afford any of this right now, but do you have any odd jobs you need done? Just curious.
Well, no one really owes us any money right now, but some gentleman's got his payment coming due in a couple days. If he doesn't pay, maybe I could tell you to go rough him up for me.
Okay.
Marv, you know that the Martellos are supposed to do it for you. I heard you, but maybe he's gonna do something a little different, you know? That way this man comes back to buy some wares. Whatever, just don't get us in trouble. Always piping a nose into everything. What? I didn't say I love you, honey.
You guys have a very strong marriage.
Oh, yeah, we've been married for about 200 years. Been running this shop since Cragstorm was founded, actually. Actually, no, that's not right. Since Lord Martillo came into town, that's when it was, yeah.
Oh. Lord Martel, is he human or is he elf or what is he?
Pretty sure I've seen some pointy ears on him, but I don't see him often. He used to go around from shop to shop, and after he purchased everything on the block, he hasn't been seen. You usually see his goonies coming around having to purchase or take all the money from everybody that they owe.
What do you mean by buying? Like, did he buy a property or did he buy items, wares?
Oh, he bought the whole property. Let me tell you what, he owns probably about 3/4 of the town.
Oh,
Yeah, very rich man.
okay. So, well, you've been here a while, right?
Yeah.
From what I gathered. What do you know about this plague going on?
Well, honestly, from what I've been told, is that for whatever reason, the past couple weeks has been an uprising in the plague. And I don't even know if it's a plague, it's more of a sickness. Whatever it does, it turns you mad, makes you start fighting everybody. It's almost like, have you ever seen them orc folk? How they just get all bloodthirsty and start killing shit? It's almost like that, but mindless. Even more mindless than something like that. And I've seen barbarians go to town. But these guys, man, one second they're your family, other second they're trying to gnaw your arm off. I don't understand it. It's like the hunger for flesh.
Okay. Are these happening in any specific spot in the city or any like local, like centralized area?
Not that I know. Honestly, the town god's been pretty hush-hush about it. They've been trying to keep keep things under tabs to make sure the town doesn't go into a widespread panic. But
Okay.
in all honesty, if you see one of them, you might as well just kill them on the spot. There's no reasoning with them, that's for sure.
Oh.
Has anyone ever cured one of these people when they have gone mad?
From what I've seen, not really. Gods have been able to put a couple of them in shackles and take them off somewhere for holding and experimentation, but after that, I've never seen them come back. So that either means that one, they're still testing them, trying to fix them, or two, they killed them and disposed of the body somehow. More than likely, I bet this whole sickness thing, it's gotta be something to do with the Martillos or the Caseros.
And why would that be?
Well, they've been feuding for quite a few years, probably about 50 years now or so. Casero used to run a lot of the town here. He was on the council too. And then Martillo showed up, and now Casero's just got a small portion of the town under his control. And I'm sure he's not happy about it, so he's trying to make Martillo, hurt a little bit. And what better way to hurt him than to make sure the townsfolk aren't able to purchase the wares they need? Most of Martillo's power, I believe, comes from the merchants and such. But don't quote me on that. I don't work for the guy. I just pay him.
Oh, and why exactly do you pay him?
Well, he owns the shop, so I gotta pay my dues. Otherwise, he could kick my ass out of business, and now I gotta go and buy a new place. Mortgage isn't really a thing I like to deal with. It's kind of hard. Them accountants and stuff, they just fiddle numbers, and I just don't understand it. I'm better at doing the magical thing than the paperwork thing.
Okay. No, I'm just curious. I thought you owned your shop from way back when.
We used to, but honestly, he paid us a pretty good fortune in order to buy it, so,
Okay.
Most of the stuff that we end up selling, we end up being able to pay, quite a few years of rent just off one purchase, so.
So you guys are pretty good then. You're not really bothered too much.
Oh, no. And honestly, thievery ain't too much of a thing around here anymore, not since Martillo came into town.
Okay. And you said he came here, 200 years ago?
Probably a little bit more than that. He's probably been, scoping out the place for a while. I'm not really sure exactly where he came from, but it was about 200 years or so when he started buying up properties and stuff. Took him a couple years to get everything. You know how negotiations can be. One minute you're talking to a kobold, next minute you gotta fight a war.
We know the feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Real quick before I forget, do you do trade with any other cities?
Trade, usually traveling caravans and stuff. I don't think we've got any particular trade routes set up. I could ask Marvine. She usually handles anything that's outgoing, but typically with our line of business is our clientele are either traveling merchants or the Martillos and Casero families.
Okay. Would it be okay if it would be okay to ask her if I ask her about that? Because I know some potential places you might be interested in.
Oh, yeah. Hold on one sec. Marvine! You see the gnome woman come on out. Yes? What was your name?
My name is DF. DF.
This man named Hef he's got some questions for you. All right. She comes up. What can I help you with?
Oh, hey, Marvine. So I hear that you don't exactly have any trade routes outside the city, do you?
Especially with the gates being closed and it being cost a fortune in order to get in. Nah, we don't really deal with anything like that. But, we do have some traveling merchants that come here quite often. Used to anyway. And they'll typically take some of our wares and go sell them for a good price and then bring back a portion of it.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if in the future this blockade, the quarantine will be ended because of the plague. But either way, there's two places, Sai Siege's Fortress and the city of... Have you heard of those places?
I've heard of Iris a little. It's a little north of here, right?
Yeah. Well, northeast.
Whatever. Same thing. It ain't south, that's for sure. Anyway, yeah, I've heard of it. I've never been myself. But I'm sure it's a lovely place.
Well, anyway, we just came from there, and there's a bunch of merchants there that would love to trade with anyone they could. So maybe
Oh,
I
that sounds
if I
like
ever
a
pass
great
there.
idea. Marvin, we've been needing to go on a vacation anyway. Yeah, I know. I've been trying, but you see the kids. They keep running around. I don't even know how many we have anymore. We've got 7 kids, Marvin. 7 of them. Remember? 1, 2. Ah, shit. 2 of them are lost. I appreciate your conversation and all, Jeff. But I gotta go
Yes.
find my kids. Marvin over here is not really good
Oh,
at looking out for them. But yeah, I'll keep
okay.
it in mind. We might go up there for a visit or two. Who would we talk to? Who could we get some
There's
good groundwork in with?
the famous and infamous bunny. Is it Rabbit Slayer? Yeah, Rabbit Slayer. Uh, Named for Drake.
Never heard of him.
Just tell him he have sent you.
All right,
He'll
I'll
accommodate
look
you
for the
guys.
Rabbit Slayer and then I'll tell him Jeff sent me. Very
And
well.
then if you ever go to Size Sieger's Fort, it's much farther north. Just
Oswald's gonna step in. Let's not talk about Siege's Fortress for now.
oh, okay,
Remember,
never
you have
mind.
to leave due to an emergency of some kind.
Oh yeah, I forgot. My bad.
Emergencies are fun, unless they're brown. Then they're not fun at all. Let me tell you.
Okay. Well, I'll leave it to your kids. Hope you find them.
Oh, they shouldn't be too hard to track. I enchanted them all, so I know exactly their location at all times.
That's
She kind of
Evasive.
winks at you.
okay. Well, yeah.
With that,
Good.
she walks away. She says, "Pleasure doing business with you." And then she goes
You as
back
well.
to the back room. And you see a couple little sparks of light come from the back room. There you are, you little shit.
Okay.
What? What?
Yeah, you have no idea what happened, but she found one of them more than likely. Anyway, Marvin looks back at you. Yeah, come back whenever you're wanting to buy some stuff.
Okay. And if I'm still within a couple of days, if you need that job done, I'll come in and ask about it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, and this random thing, not to be rude or anything, but have you ever thought of a stool so you could see the customers?
You know what? That makes a lot of sense now that I thought about it. Why have I not thought about that?
If I see one, I'll bring one back to you.
I like this guy. You keep doing you, Jeff. You keep doing you. And he walks behind the counter. You hear a snap of the fingers, and then you see him rise up a little bit. I forgot I could levitate a little bit.
What?
Oh. Okay.
How do you forget?
About that. I'll have to ask you to teach me that sometimes.
We'll see.
In the future, though. Okay. Nice doing business with you.
Oh yeah, have a good one. And you see the kids are all kind of like staring at you guys, particularly Shadow, as you guys walk out. Kids, don't get any busy ideas now. And you see them kind of chuckle at each other. One of them points at Adeline, and they whisper and stuff like that. If everyone could roll a perception check for me real quick. I'll roll
Yay,
it for you, Jeff.
Thank you.
You rolled a 20. Shadow a 15.
Damn.
All right. So as you guys are walking out, Oswald is leading the way with Adeline right behind him. And the rest of you all kind of look, and you see that Adeline now has a long mustache out of nowhere. You look back at the kids, and they're all laughing and giggling under their breath, like. And then as you guys walk outside, Adeline looks at all of you and goes, so should we go to the orphanage? I hear there is much suffering that... I'm just kidding. That would be terrible. Adeline goes to the orphanage and immediately starts killing everybody. They call me Great Master Jedi. Also kidding. But he has this nice big, long... It's almost like it's straight horizontal, but it curves down just a little bit towards the end, almost as if the weights of the end are a little too long. And he looks at you guys, and he honestly looks hilarious. So if this is Adeline's face, right?
Are you drawing it?
Yeah.
Oh no!
The last 20 seconds cut out for me.
The little gnome children you noticed were pointing at Adeline and laughing, and as you guys walked outside of the store, he started talking to you guys, and he's got a very long pencil mustache that exceeds past his cheeks all of a sudden, whereas he was normally bald and had no facial hair. At least I believe he was bald.
I think he was bald.
Yeah. Every time I say it, he's like, that's just the picture of it. So, for reference, this is what he normally looks like. And now he's got... Actually,
Well,
hold on.
that's a buzz cut.
Yeah. There. That's better. So that's what Adeline looks like right now. So he looks at you guys and goes, so, what should we go and do now? Jeff,
Well,
I'll send you a picture so that you can... Oh, never mind. There he is. Can you hear us now, Jeff?
Okay, I'm back.
Neat.
I love us so much.
So I'm sending you a photo, Jeff, so that you can look at it later.
Okay.
But yeah, he has a mustache now. You don't know for how long. You don't know really. More than likely, that's what you're getting from it. Peach little foot.
Okay. God damn it.
It'll never end.
It will never end.
Per mustache.
Forever immortalized.
But yeah, he asks, where would you guys like to go?
I would like to check out the wares from the blacksmith.
Hey, I could probably use some extra equipment as well. So let us go. And then as he's talking to you, he looks at y'all's faces. Shadow is definitely chuckling. And
Shadow looks away.
And he's kind of like, what is so funny? Who is laughing at me? Ooh.
Well, with a 9, I probably haven't noticed. I probably just kept going.
All right. Well, if something is funny, you should bring it up. Let me know. Looking at Shadow, Adeline.
Shadow does. Shadow finds nothing funny.
Yeah, very well. Maybe you have funny joke, and you don't want to tell it to anybody. As he's looking at you, he starts to move his head to head towards the blacksmith, and the mustache sort of like gets lagged behind and then shoots out. And hey, what the hell is on my face? He starts to poke it. It hurts when I poke it.
Oh no!
What did you do? He looks at you, Shadow. How did you do this?
It was gnome children.
Gnomes did this?
Gnome children from Magic Shop.
He pulls out his glaive. I will teach them.
No! Please do not kill gnome children. They're having fun.
Fine, but I do not like it. He takes his glaive and he shaves it off, and you watch as...
With extreme precision?
Yeah, with extreme precision, as if he's done this before. But he takes his glaive and he's able to shave off, and as the hairs start to fall, you watch as they just vanish into thin air.
Oh.
I hate magic. Alright, now Adeline has his normal face again. As you guys are walking towards the blacksmith, Shadow, you look behind you and you see all the gnome children in the window laughing their ass off. You see a couple of feet that are sort of kicking as they're rolling around on the floor laughing out loud. And
Amazing.
You yourself are compelled to laugh and you chuckle. Adeline keeps looking back back at you whenever you do. I do not find it funny. So, with that, you guys end up getting to the blacksmith. Let's see, move your little dudes. And there you see Margaret hard at work. She's got some goggles on her head, or over her eyes, to make sure that the heat and the soot and such doesn't get into her eyes. She's got her very large apron on and some really big gloves as she's hammering away, making what looks to be a longsword. Dink, dink, dink.
Are her, like, the different weapons that she has made, are they visible? Like, does she have racks or things like that, or is it like all in a
Yes.
building?
Yeah, so it's an open aired building to make sure that like the smoke and the billows don't end up, causing any issues to people that come in to look at her wares. But she's got a couple different barrels that have different long swords and short swords, spears and such. And then her more notable pieces of equipment are kind of hanging on mounts that are up against her forge. She's got a couple different armor sets as well, anything from scale mail to chain mail that are on little mannequins on display. As you approach the desk, Ivan comes up. How can we help you?
I was just wanting to browse the weapons along the racks.
Oh yeah, very easily done. They're all right here, and he points over sort of to his right, from behind the desk, and there's a couple different tables as well that have some cloth on them to make sure that the weapons don't do any damage to the table itself. Everything from this side over, it increases in quality, which also means that it increases in price. So he points at the closest swords towards you, and from what you can tell, they do look like just regular swords. And as they go along this long table and start to get mounted on racks and stuff, they do seem to be made of superior quality and precision. A couple of them have like jeweled hilts and stuff, have different engravings. Others just have normal handles and kind of look like regular swords and such. Is there anything in particular that you might be looking for?
Yeah. What is the price range of your higher quality ones?
He kind of
And-
looks over at Margaret and he starts scratching his head. I usually don't make the prices, but I think some of her best work has been sold for about 1,000 gold.
And just to make sure, these are all made for combat?
Yes, we can do ceremonial if you want and make it look really good. Although some of the really good-looking metals don't, usually do well in combat. I'm sure a knight like you might know.
Right. No, I am aiming for combat-oriented weapons. Just want to make sure.
Well, the best sword that we have is that one right there. And he points to a long sword that is actually in a glass casing. He walks you over to it. This is, I think, the most expensive piece we have. It's about 1,000 gold, but if you look at it, and he starts to sort of, like, you can feel that there was a tenseness, like he was kind of afraid of talking to you, but suddenly he becomes more calm and well versed with his words, and he's like, Margaret spent 2 weeks on this piece. The handle was made out of the bone of a fearsome beast that she had felled in combat many years ago, and the long portion of the blade itself is actually made out of mithril. It's the sharpest thing I've ever seen. I've almost cut myself just looking at it.
And that was the same person?
That was the same person.
Do you know what type of beast it was?
Um, hmm. I would ask her myself, but she's working right now. Uh, she scares me. I know it was large, though.
Uh, by visually, like, is he touching the sword, or are we just looking at it in the case?
You're just looking at it in the case. He does not dare touch the sword without Margaret's permission.
Are we able to uh, do an investigation just through visuals?
Yeah, definitely. What exactly are you trying to gauge from it?
Is it possible to gauge weapons that are technically +1, +2 type quality in D&D standard?
Not,
Is that a thing?
yeah, I would say so. Looking over it, you definitely can tell that it is a very well crafted sword. Uh, it's probably one of the better crafted swords you've ever seen. You remember looking at Sisiege's weapon from all your training, and you would know that in D&D terms, that was a +1 sword that he had, whereas this is even further beyond what that was crafted at. And without being able to use detect magic on route or right now or identify, you would be able to tell that it's probably better than that of Sisiege's equipment that he was using.
Now, I know you said you don't negotiate the price yourself, but you did say it would be around 1,000, roughly?
More than likely, yes. I'm sure maybe if you talk to her yourself, maybe you're better with words than I am. At that moment, she starts to hold up the sword that she's been hammering at, and you watch her as she dips it into a large barrel of water, and the steam, as all the steam comes off, and then she takes it out. She's sort of looking at it. That will do. Ivan! Yes. Grind the sword down to a nice fine point, please. Are these folks looking to purchase something? I believe so. I'll get right on it. And he takes the sword from Margaret. As he does, he trembles and almost drops it. She goes, Ivan, I'm so sorry. Please, I'm so sorry. And he sort of scurries away very quickly, but this time very carefully, to the grindstone, where he starts to grind it to a nice smooth finish. As Margaret starts taking off her gloves, she takes off her goggles. You can see the soot where the goggles used to be. She's got nice clear skin, and then it sort of gets a little blackish from all the soot and smoke. And she comes up, yes, what were you looking to buy?
I was browsing the different swords that you have, seeing if any would pique my interest.
And?
I hear this sword that you crafted from a beast that you fell long ago.
That one. I was, where was I? I was up in the mountains to the north, doing a little research, trying to find a new place to get some material components and such, alloys and such. And all of a sudden, I could have sworn it was a dragon, but it was more like a dog, some sort of like mix between the two. Maybe some sort of experiment gone wrong between a dragon and a dog. But some sort of drake hound attacked me, and honestly, it almost cost me my life, but I was able to fell the beast, and I took with it, or from it, its fangs, and that is what the hilt of the sword is made of. The sharp portion of the blade is made of mithril, which I found on my journey as well, and was able to craft it, and honestly, it cuts through wood like butter. Cuts through a lot of things like butter, actually.
That would be quite the sword to have.
Oh, it is my prized possession as of right now, so it won't come cheap.
Is that Ivan was guessing around 1,000, but he says you're the one in charge.
That is correct. most of my wares are anywhere between 50 gold to a couple hundred gold, but this piece I would not let go for any less than 1,000 gold. And obviously, if you don't have the money for it now, I'm sure it will be here for quite some time. I won't let just anyone purchase it, and I can tell that you've probably got a great use for it in the future.
I would definitely put it to good use should I come to afford it.
Well, are you at all handy with crafting weapons at all?
You cut out.
Oh, are you at all handy at crafting weapons yourself?
Unfortunately, no. I do not have much experience in crafting.
Well, I was gonna say
The
that
only,
maybe you could work off some of the debts, but if you're not used to doing any work like that, I don't really have much time to train you, let alone Ivan over there.
What type, out of character, what type of checks would be needed for that type of work?
I would say it'd be probably some straight strength and dexterity checks for like blacksmithing, as well as maybe some sleight of hand work to make sure that you're hitting it in the proper portions and all that.
Alright, yeah, if that's going to be a good chunk of dex, then that'd be a little bit risky. For at least my character, I'm all strength based.
Yeah.
Alright. Well, are there perhaps materials that you require that I could perhaps be on the lookout for?
I could always use some good quality steel and iron, wood to burn my furnaces, coal, things like that. Any type of jewels would definitely help in bringing down the price of that piece. Because you know how royalty can be. They're not worried if the sword will break apart in combat, but as long as it looks good, they'll pay whatever price you set in front of them. And she sort of chuckles a bit at the stupidity of nobility.
Very well, I will be on the lookout for materials as well as saving what coin I can.
All right, very well. And you said your name was?
My name is Oswald.
Very nice to meet you, Oswald. And she extends her hand out for a handshake, smiling.
I will extend my hand and shake.
Is there anything else I can help you good folks with? Adeline kind of looks over. Do you have any type of mace and maybe some good shields? Ah, yes, we do have a couple of those here and there. I don't usually get requests for maces, so I just have the bare necessities of them. They'd run you anywhere between 25 to 50 gold. And then shields, I got all manners of shields. I will keep eye out. No purchase for now. Very well. And she does the same formalities, shakes his hand. Well, if that is all that you have of me, I will get back to work. And then she... Did you have something?
I'm
Jeff?
good.
Okay.
I'm good.
All right. So she sort of bows slightly, and then goes back, putting on her her gloves and her such, and starts to hammer out some more steel for the next piece. So with that, now that you're done at the blacksmith, where would you guys like to go next?
So we know there's a herbalist shop, and we know there's a orphanage, right?
Correct.
Where else haven't we gone to? Like probably 6 other locations.
There's a couple different like shops and stuff, but the most notable shops you've probably already visited. There would be like a grocery store, like an open air market that has food and such if you wanted to go and buy stuff like that. There is a clother who sells more of the, robes and hide equipment. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I look over to Adeline and I ask, would he like to go visit an orphanage that are in trouble? No, I'll restate that. Would he like to visit orphans that are suffering?
Adeline looks at you and says, "Much suffering. We could take care of all of it very quickly.
That's what I'm saying. Let's go, buddy.
But,"
I mean, if you want to, that
and he
is.
sort of holds out his hand, "honestly, these people probably not understand our work. We have to make good relationship before we end suffering here."
Well, I mean, yeah, of course. And by ending suffering, I mean just doing some odd jobs for them, nothing like harming them, right?
"Yes," he says.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, he says with a question mark.
Yes? Question mark? What do you
Yes.
mean there, buddy?
Oh, yes.
It sounds like that's not what you meant at
What
first.
mean by end suffering?
Make sure they never suffer again. Easy.
Meaning,
How? This.
Maybe one day I show you. Because you personally will suffer, and I will help you end it.
gonna take a mental note to stock up on potions around Adeline.
Shadow's gonna take a mental note to stay like far away from Adeline at all times, and to
Okay.
never get on his bad side, and just gonna like squint suspiciously at him.
So,
Okay.
are you guys going to the orphanage then?
I want to look to the rest of the group and say, so do we have any leads on where they took Adka? Like at all?
Nishan pipes up and he's like, "Well, they said the Casero territory, which is over that way," and he points on your shitty map at the southeast portion of the town. And Anara's down there right now, and more than likely she'll end up finding out more than we could as a group.
Shadow thinks they may have taken her to Kasaru may have taken her, considering Akata looked very strong, and they seem to like making people go mad.
Are you talking about with the
Well-
sickness, Shadow?
Yes, the sickness.
That is a good point. And this is Nishan talking. I don't think I could ever mimic Dan's voice. I think we should wait to try to find Okta until we know that Anara is back.
Yeah, don't want to lose two members. Okay, let's go look for Anara then.
Well, Anara said that she would find us before we found her, so I think that's a fool's errand.
Okay, so what time is it right now?
At this point, it's later in the afternoon, probably about 4.
Okay. Should we find out where we're going to be staying tonight before it gets, too late? Because we don't want to. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to sleep with the slums again. I'd rather not.
Nishan looks down at the ground. Yeah, filth does not suit me very well either.
So you guys want to go ahead to the inn or the tavern or whatever they have here, and just check out a room early?
Adeline looks over to Shadow. "You know a good place to sleep, yeah?"
I mean, Shadow can sleep anywhere, but for you, sure. I know a good place to sleep.
And Shadow would know that the Silent Bow Tavern would probably be the safest bet for newcomers.
Okay.
Shadow will take you to Silent Bow Tavern.
Very well, we follow. Lead way.
Before we
Shadow
go
leads
to,
away.
well, I'm gonna interrupt. Like, before we go, can you point me to, like, is there a library in this city?
What?
There
Oh,
would
is there a
be
library?
there would be a library, yes.
Oh,
And
I'd
it
also
would
like to go to a
be
library.
yeah. You kind of look around and you haven't really asked. So as you guys are setting off, Oswald goes up to one of the guards and asks if there's a library. He's like, yeah, it's right over there. And it's this pretty big building right there. So as you guys are walking through the market, Oswald ends up cutting off from you guys and then going this way. Do you want to shout at them, Oswald? To get their
What-
attention? Because you broke off from them as they were walking away to go
Right.
ask the guard about the library. Do you tell them or do you let them just go on their way?
Well, if they're within vision of me, I'll let them know that I'm heading to the library.
Okay. So Oswald waves his hands at you guys. Adeline turns around. Oh, what are you doing, Oswald?
I'm gonna go to the library for now. I will meet y'all at the tavern later on.
Oh,
Jeff will accompany you.
Okay, why?
Oh, I forgot this library. I need to do some research on things.
If all we're going to do is wait for Anara's return, I'm going to make use of that time at the library.
it sounds like a very good idea. I would like to read as well. Nishan sort of agrees with your statement. Maybe they have some books on magic or something.
Yes.
Shadow, we will go to the Silent Bow Tavern after we spend a couple hours at the library. Taverns are typically open all the time anyway.
Okay, I'll come with you.
Okay, so you guys start to head towards the library. As you guys are going there, there are a couple guards that are they're going around and they're asking some folks questions. When they see your group, they come up. Oi! We're looking for an elf. Any of you elves? And they look over. Nishan has his hood up so they can't see right off the bat that he's an elf. You, with the hood, take it off. Nishan doesn't fight it, and he takes off his hood. Is your name Nishan by chance?
Oh no.
And what if it is? Well, we came looking for you. And the fact that you're not answering the question straight definitely means you're Nishan, aren't you? And they sort of smile. Don't worry, you're not in trouble unless you want to make it trouble. But we need you to come with us. May I ask whatever for? Well, she didn't give us a name, but some powerful wizard said that she's been looking for you for quite some time. You were supposed to meet at some tower a while ago, and you never showed up, and now she found you here, so she's here looking for you. You see Nishan's eyes sort of sparkle, as if a great weight has been lifted off his shoulders, and he thank the gods if they even exist anymore. Sorry, everybody. It seems I'm being summoned. Don't worry, I will send word of my well-being soon. But don't do anything that I wouldn't do. He looks at Jeff specifically.
I'm going to use
I
the sending stone
Okay.
and ask, is this business that you have to be alone for, or should we accompany you?
He thinks back to you. I believe this is my master, who I've been searching for quite some time, which is how I got into this group of adventurers in the first place. Now that I have found her, I must go and see what she needs my help for. I will make sure that she knows that you guys are worthy adversaries and could possibly be of good use to us, but for now I should be safe, don't worry.
Okay, well, just on the safe side, where will you be, just in case we do need to come for you?
Excuse me, gods, where exactly are you taking me? To the palace. And they point, and you can see where the walls sort of make another gate, and beyond it, you know that is sort of like the royal quarter. Shadow knows this for sure, as she's tried to get in many times, but some magical force keeps getting her out so that she cannot see within.
I'm sorry. Where did Shadow try to go into?
The royal quarter down
Oh.
here by the palace. Shadow
Right.
is
You've never been to the High District before. Cloud District.
You've never been to the Cloud District before. Huh. What am I saying? Of course you haven't.
exactly.
I'll have you know there's no pussy.
Gamer poops.
Yeah.
The gamer poops were so good. I'm your Balgrith, and I be ballin'. So Nishan says to you guys one final time, it's like, don't worry, I'll be safe. And if worse comes to worse, you know I'm in the palace. Lead the way, boys. Right this way then, elf. And they start to walk off nice and easy. By the time they reach the corner and cut through, they are out of y'all's sight, and you guys continue to head on to the library. Once you get inside of the library, you see there's multiple levels. It's a 3-story building. As you walk in, you can see like a large map that is not very detailed, but it definitely looks like the map that I have shown you guys in actual, like of the actual world. So the area is pretty mapped out. The major cities that have been founded and are well known, like Bronzefall and Cragstorm and Irisk, are all plotted on the map, as well as the name of the different seas and rivers and such. And it's all behind a glass panel. On the other side of that is a very open area with a bunch of different long tables and chairs. You see a lot of different folks that are here with stacks of books, just writing on scrolls. You see a couple little kids that are opening up a book, and they're waving their fingers and speaking arcane language, conjuring mage hands and flipping through books and stuff. All seem very excited. As you guys start to go towards this open area, a gentleman comes up. Ah, yes. Welcome to the Library of Cragstorm. How can I be of service to you all?
What time of day is it roughly?
It's around 4:30, somewhere in that time frame.
Would that still technically be afternoon then?
Yes.
Afternoon. I was wondering if you had books in this library that dealt with rune magic or ancient magic of the sort.
Runes and ancient magic sounds very compelling, like a great story to me. I know we have fiction on it for sure, and if we do have any books, they're probably checked out by the Grand Wizard as she does her experiments on the sick. But, and he holds out his finger before you can even say anything else, I will do my best to help you. Follow me. And then he starts to walk towards a back portion of the library. As you guys follow him, so, what brings you to Cragstorm? It's not like strangers to come to the library of all places. Typically, people have other things that they must do. And he stops before getting past the big open room. Where are my manners? The name's Elben Glaz. And he holds out a hand for someone to shake it.
Oh, I'm assuming.
I shake his hand.
Okay.
Oh.
Jeff goes in
No, that's
for
fine. It's fine.
a firm handshake. And you are?
My name is Jeff.
Very nice to meet you, Jeff. Who are your compatriots?
Oh,
I'll
this,
go reach
I'll
my
allow
hand.
them to introduce themselves.
Yeah, I'll reach out my hand as well towards them.
And
The name's Oswald.
He grabs your hand, and he's got a nice firm handshake. Very nice to meet you, Oswald. Who else do we have? A cat?
Tabaxi is familiar with this custom. Tabaxi's name is Shadow, and she reaches out to shake his hand.
Very nice. Claws. Don't those retract or something? You poked him with your claw. You were excited. More than likely.
Do Tabaxi claws retract?
I would assume
The
yes.
way, because the way that cat claws work? They're like kind of like the tips of the fingers and just sort of bend
Yeah,
in far. But I don't.
Yeah.
I would
But
think that
with
tabaxis would do the
humanoid
same.
claws,
Regardless, cat
Shadow
Shadow.
apologizes.
Well, very nice to meet you, Shadow. You should be careful on doing handshakes with claws, but nonetheless, I like you. And who is this stout fellow? He looks at Adeline. I am Adeline, and I seek to end all suffering. Well, suffer no more when you have a good book to read. Adeline does not laugh. My comedy has fallen on deaf ears. Anyway,
Comedy.
he's trying to be comedic, yeah. This way. And he begins walking you guys towards the back. As you guys get closer to that area, you see that a lot of the bookshelves are sort of scarce of books, and a lot of it's a little dustier than the rest of the spots. So, this is everything we have on the ancient times. As you can see, not many people care about the ancient times, and the books that used to be here have been confiscated by Lord Martillo and Lord Casero. But
Is there
runes, and he goes and he looks, this one may help you. And he pulls out a book and hands it to you, and it's got, let's see, what language do you speak?
it should be Elvish, Dwarvish, and
So it is written in Dwarvish. I do not speak this language, but it's a rune to me. And you can see it says on there, and it says ancient dwarven drinking.
I'll hand the book back to him. Not quite the rune I was thinking of.
So maybe, and he's putting his fingers on other books. Maybe this one. He takes another one and hands it to you.
Well, before he hands it to me, can I try to make a perception check on the books around?
Yeah, go ahead and roll investigation, actually,
Okay, investigation.
since you are looking for something specific. So you look around, and the books are definitely, there's not a lot of them. They're very finite. But there are a couple that, based on what it says, one of them says like ancient elven remedies. You think that might have something to do with what you're looking for. There's another book that says magic for beginners, written in common. That may help you. And then another one, you can't read what it says, but it looks really old. So you grab that one as well. That book. And he looks over at you and says, honestly, I've asked the Grand Wizard herself. She can't make heads or tails of what language that is. So that is probably our oldest book that we have.
These will do. Is there like an empty table nearby?
Yeah, there's plenty of empty tables. Now, if you want to check these out, I'll have to make sure that we go through the proper procedures, but as long as you're within the library, feel free to sit anywhere you please.
Yeah, I'll just go to a nearby table for now with those books.
All right. As you start to walk away, does anyone else need any light reading or anything like that? Anything specific?
Oh, yes, good sir. Would you happen to have anything on advanced magics?
Typically, advanced magics and such are kept with the Grand Wizard and her library. But I'm sure maybe she left a book or two somewhere around here. Unfortunately, I cannot help you.
Okay. Would
But
you also
if you need a
happen to
good
have
cookbook, I can definitely help.
a good cookbook? You say?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'll look into that. But I'll take it from him to read on the table. But do you also happen to have any books on like zoology or like any like creatures, ancient creatures, or just unique and strange creatures of the world?
Maybe not unique and strange, but we do have sort of a book of common beasts around the area, as well as stories of strange beasts that may have been found, but no one has seen since they've been found.
That's exactly what I'm looking for. Exactly.
All
Actually,
right. So he starts walking around the library with you. He picks out one book that's in common. He gives it to you, and it says How to Feed Monsters. You start to browse it, and it says it's different ways of feeding yourself to monsters so that they enjoy you more. There's
I'm
another
sorry,
book,
what?
How to Bait Monsters into Coming Out of Their Habitats by sacrificing yourself as their food.
All right.
is
On
it
the
by
very-
Sir Bilbo Baggins?
No. Balbo Biggins. I'm just
Oh,
joking.
Bilbo Biggins. Okay.
Of course.
On the back of it, it says do not try. Or do not attempt any of these recipes. They will hurt.
Especially not at home.
Yeah.
Is
He,
there
picks-
not a book?
he goes
Is there not a
around.
book called Fantastic Beast and Where to Find Them?
No, we do not have Harry Potter here. Sorry.
Damn.
J.K. Rowling has since taken her books out of this here library due to copyright infringement. Also,
It happens.
he pulls out a book and it says Beasts of the Wild. That should be a lot
Gone
helpful. Beast Gone Wild? No.
Oh no!
You see a lot of tabaxi pictures. Shadow has piqued your curiosity.
Oh god.
Also
That is
kidding.
false.
Beasts of
false.
the Wild. And then
Shadow is 14.
he grabs another book and he's like, this is probably exactly what you're looking for. And it says farm animals and how to care for them. Speaking of farm animals, Splinter has to use the bathroom real quick. So
Okay.
let us take a 5-minute break so that I can let him
I'm
use the
like
potty.
almost at my hotel, so I need to probably take like a longer break.
Okay. You're
15
just going...
minutes.
Yeah, how long do you need, Jeff?
Let me see what MapQuest says. Give me a second. Or
Okay. Because in all honesty, we've probably got about 30 more minutes, and then
Oh.
we'll wrap up.
never mind. I'm going to be there in 20 minutes.
Okay. We could honestly probably wrap up in that time. Splinter can hold it. Go lay down. Go lay down. Yeah,
Ow.
he'll hold it. All right, he'll be fine. Don't worry. It's not dog abuse. Anyway, he hands you the books. And for you, Shadow, did you need anything?
Shadow's magic comes from darkness? Do you have anything on that?
On just darkness? He sort of scratches his head. I don't believe we do.
Watch, and she's gonna conjure a mage hand, and it's gonna do that thing
Oh,
where the darkness does the thing.
my, that is terrifying. You guys all see as she conjures her mage hand, a sort of shadowy smoke sort of almost envelops Shadow. It's translucent enough to where it doesn't look like it's harmful, but it's definitely very ominous and very smoky. Well, I do not believe we have anything on that particular subject, but maybe we could write the book ourselves. I guess you're not
Right.
interested.
Shadow is hoping for something more substantial.
Well, Shadow, we can definitely try to pick through the library to try to help you out, but not many people know how to do something like that, I guarantee it.
Shadow does not know how she does ether.
That is
You
very
see,
confusing.
You see Jeff drool a bit at the sight of this new magic.
Jeff is a furry?
Literally
No,
just a mage hand.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
just the shadowy mage hand. He's drooling at that.
It's literally just a mage hand.
Okay. Well, he doesn't know that. He doesn't know that yet, so he's gonna ask eventually. But
Adeline comes up and says, "Do you have anything on the goddess Meshekel?" We have a couple books about some of the gods and goddesses. Maybe not of that particular god. She seems to be a lesser god. And he sort of gets closer. Meshekel is not lesser than anybody. You do not want to suffer, do you? And he sort of like holds back, just a little, like sort of leans back. I am terribly sorry if I offended you, Sir Paladin. But let me help you. And he goes, and you guys follow him around while Oswald is sitting at his table reading through his books.
Actually,
Go ahead.
Shadow would go to help him read that one book that does not with the language
Okay.
that no one can understand with comprehend languages.
All right. So you go and sit down and cast your spell. We'll get to that here in a second. And he goes, Elbin goes with Adeline, and he pulls out the mini book of gods. This should help you figure out exactly what you're looking for. And he hands it over. This will help me end all suffering.
God.
And he goes and sits down, and then he notices Shadow is gone. He's like, well, I guess that's all for me. He goes to where you guys are sitting real fast, and if you guys need anything, let me know. And before you leave, I would like to speak with you all about something that I have just thought up. But for now, go ahead and read. And he sort of leaves you be. Shadow, you cast Comprehend Languages, and Oswald, you are using your arcane rune sensory thingy, right?
I mean, if Eyes of the Arcanist works here, yeah, I'll be using it.
All right.
If it can be.
Yep. So as you study through the book, after the 10 minutes that it takes for your thing to kick in, you start to see a very...
It only takes 1 minute, sorry.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I cast it as a ritual?
You
I
can,
don't
yeah.
even know. Cool.
It
Do
is
that.
a ritual spell, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so you could cast it as a ritual.
Yes.
So Oswald is looking at the book, and after a minute, he starts to flip through the pages while you sit next to him doing your ritual chanting and stuff. Hey, I'm just joking. I don't do that. Oswald, go ahead and roll an investigation check with advantage.
Okay. Oh, rest in peace.
So, as you are reading through this, you see bits and pieces on different pages of like sort of runic symbols that definitely light up to you, but they don't light up to anyone else. So this book that you have has been written not only in a very ancient language, but it's also been partially written in magic as well.
Real quick,
Yeah.
I don't know if this is going to help, but I technically have a 16 with that roll because I have double proficiency when making intelligence checks, identifying magical writing,
Oh.
such as arcane sigils or divine text.
And which one is that on? That's not.
It's
in
just
the
part
Eyes
of it's just part of being a rune guard.
Okay.
Sexy.
I think it came from level 5, I think, but yeah, I already have that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll double check it, but yeah, sounds right to me. Anyway, so yeah, as you're looking through it, you're able to discern some of the magical writing, and it says different things about an old elven empire. You go through a couple more pages and more things about elves being the highest of the humanoid races. You flip through a couple more pages, and then you see the word Nagex. This sort of definitely pikes your interest, as you've heard Siege talk about this quite a bit. So you start browsing a little more hastily, and you see how it's talking about how Nagex came to sort of be, and what ended up being her downfall was the gods coming down to the material plane and banishing her from the material plane. Then you look through a little bit more, and it says something about her family was slain, except for whatever reason, her brother and sister could not be found. And then the book ends.
We're still talking about Negax, her brother and sister?
Yeah, Nagex's brother and sister were never found, but the rest of her family was slain for allowing her to do what she did back in those ancient times. At this point, after you're done flipping through those pages, Shadow would end up casting Comprehend Languages, and as she's looking through it, most of the writing that's in the ancient script talks about the ancient Elven Empire, but it talks about it in a more, they brought peace and prosperity across the world, everything was good, society was bustling, and the economy was rich, blah, blah, blah. All very good light tales about how the Elven Empire was so superior in its wake.
Now, was this Shadow reading this on different pages than me, or this
No,
was Shadow seeing
Shadow
while I
would've-
was seeing something different?
Exactly. So you
Okay.
both ended up reading different things of the same book. Shadow was
Yeah, you
able to
read, like, the-
comprehend-
Yeah, I read
would
like
have been
between
reading
the
the
lines,
magical
basically.
runes, and-
Yeah.
Shadow would have been reading the base language that it was written in,
Yes.
whatever that is.
No, I would have been reading it silently. Would you have been doing this out loud or silently yourself?
Shadow would have been like, would be telling you what it said as she read it.
Alright, I guess I'll take a mental note of that. I probably would have had like a raised eyebrow of like, I don't know if they would have noticed that behavior from me, but
Probably
yeah,
not.
I'd probably
with
have that look
you.
of like, huh? That's
Yeah.
that's not what I'm getting here.
Yeah. Shadow, roll a perception check real quick. With disadvantage, just because you are more than likely focused on the book, not Oswald. So yeah, you don't really notice anything as Oswald, or as you're reading along out loud to Oswald, thinking that he can't read it himself, because he definitely didn't tell you that he's able to detect anything special. So you're going on reading. The Elven Empire was ruler of the world, and everything was fine and dandy, and elves were definitely the noble race and the superior race. Everyone loved the elves, blah, blah, blah. And you keep reading this stuff, and from what you get, his general body language of Oswald is kind of all like, it's kind of a load of crap, or whatever. And with that, you kind of close the book. And what would you like to do with this information?
It sounds like the elves were really good.
Based on what you read, it sounds like a history book.
Do you have other information?
Not really. You're the one that can comprehend language. I'll try to look at that book more at a different time, and
Would Shadow notice that there were particular runes that she could not understand?
Negative. There weren't, from what you could see, is there weren't any runes at all.
Oh, okay.
I would like to look into that book more, but we can do that later.
Okay.
Now, how much time do you think we'd have at the library?
I would say that reading all of that and stuff probably took about an hour or so. So it's probably about 5:30 in the afternoon / evening.
Well,
And then,
I guess since we're just waiting for Anara to find us, I'll try to use the other books, whatever information they may have, and tinker with the. See if they can help me tinker with the sending stones that we have.
Okay.
See if I can like figure out a way to get them to be linked
Yeah.
to the ones that we already have.
So you look through, and the one book that is Magic for Beginners, that book does show you sort of a rough way of doing the message spell, which is a cantrip, very common spell for magical folk to have. Judging by the way the spell is weaved, you believe that you have found a partial answer on how to link the stones. Shadows is, I would assume, looking over your shoulder. Is that right, Shadow?
Shadow, nope. Shadow is looking through the library to find any books that may or may not have to do with
Shadows?
the kind of magic she does.
Okay. So, yeah, you kind of get a general idea that there's something in this book, but it's not everything that you need yet for linking the sending stones.
All right. Is it like a lot of knowledge to memorize, or is it just like a little
No,
bit
it's
that I
just
could easily know on
yeah,
my...
it's a couple little notes and tidbits that you would be able to remember for sure. I know you got to use the bathroom, pal. Just give us like 15 minutes.
Well, I don't know about Jeff, but I can let you take your break now if need be. Like
Jeff, are you there?
If Jeff has anything he needs to do, let him, I guess, wrap that up real quick.
Jeff's
Jeff,
muted.
Yeah, Jeff, you're muted if you were saying anything.
He's muted as hell.
I'm breaking up a bunch. I can barely hear you.
Okay.
Do you have anything you'd like to do? If you heard that?
We will wait, I guess, for Jeff to get back.
You just want to take the break real quick then?
Yeah, we'll go ahead and take a break. So take about 5-10 minutes. Go grab your food/drinks, use the bathroom, and then we'll be right back. Let me text that to Jeff. All right, be right back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mr. DJ has been doing something. I just had him on zero. I had him so low I couldn't hear him.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been playing. I have a minimal as well, but I can hear it very faintly in the background. It's yeah, like town ambient going on.
Yeah. Ow.
Seems Jeff dropped entirely.
Yeah.
He usually
back.
hops back in within moments.
All right, is Jeffrey still with us, or did he roll?
He seems to be gone.
He appears to be dead.
He normally
Oh, dear.
reconnects within a minute when he does DC, but he's been gone.
Gotcha. So yeah, he'll probably end up being back later. I can probably just... I think with the further information, I'll have you guys roll, and then I'll just type up a little something that you guys would find based off of your rolls when you use more time to look into your books. As for Shadow, is that your roll to find your book?
No.
No, that was
What?
the roll. Never mind. That was the...
When the hell did I do that? This.
Yeah. Go ahead
Oh,
and roll.
that was the roll to see his thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you saw my
It's,
expression. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll an investigation check with disadvantage to find a book on... Okay, yes.
Why disadvantage?
Because Elbin told you that more than likely there wouldn't be such a thing. And if there was, it'd be really hidden. Which means that if there is a book that exists, it would be super hard to find.
Okay.
Which, as you were looking through the different books and stuff, you found other books about tabaxi grooming methods, tabaxi play toys, a lot of different tabaxi lore and such that you found interesting, and it distracted you from your previous objective. And by the time you
Shadow
ended
will
up,
definitely
take some of those.
read through all of those very carefully.
Okay, so as you're reading through some of them, Avalon slams his book. Nonsense! And then as he shouts that, he stands up from the table. All of you kind of look at him, as well as everybody else. And you see Elbin Glaz come over. Excuse me, but we do need to keep it down. This is a library. No, this book is all lies. They say God's not powerful. They very powerful. Trust me, I can show you. He starts to go for his glaive. And Jeff...
Adeline. Maybe we don't need to do that here?
No, everybody must know God's powerful. Do you believe God powerful? And he looks to you, Shadow.
Yes, but we don't need a show of force.
How far am I from him?
You'd probably be about within 10 feet for sure.
I mean, I'll look at him and say, if you're about ending suffering, why are you about to create it?
He kind of looks at you. Very good point, actually.
Hashtag got him.
But still, this book is wrong, and I require it to be destroyed. Elbin looks at him and goes, you may think that it is wrong, but the author of the book is certainly entitled to their opinions, are they not? Not when their opinions are in fact false. And there is much truth in the world. Would you allow someone to write a book of falsities against you, saying that you are no more than puny men? Elbin looks at him a little kind of like on edge, and he's like, I'll assume that you're not directly attacking me with your words, and I will have to say, yes, I would allow someone to write that book, because I would in fact write a book about them, about all the truths and heresies that they have committed. This strikes true to Adeline a bit, and he goes, fine, I will write my own book. Do you have a piece of paper and a inkwell and ink and all the things I need to write a book? I'm sure the general store has a lot of that stuff, but I do have a couple of blank tomes. I will lend you one, as long as you let me copy the book free of charge when you're done. A deal. He holds out his hand, and they make a deal. And Adeline now will have a blank tome or a blank book for him to create a story of who knows what. Honestly, Bill's probably going to be like, why the hell did Adeline do all this?
Right? Yeah, that's gonna be great, actually.
But yeah, he'll have to deal with it.
Here's your D&D homework. Go write a book.
Yep, go write a book. At this point, Adeline kind of looks, and one of the windows, you can see the sun is setting. We should probably go to tavern, no?
Sounds good. I'll put back the books I had, except the ancient one. That one I'm still going to hold on to.
Okay, so Elpin comes over. Yes, just give me one moment, and he sort of waves his hand, and you see an arcane symbol appear on the top of the book for just a moment. And it's sort of a location sort of rune, from what you can tell.
I was wanting to ask, you say no one's ever used this book? No one pays heed to it?
Well, typically people that come in want to read a book, not try to figure out what the book says. And like I said, the Grand Wizard doesn't even know what it says, so I'm assuming that's why no one's ever really checked it out.
Could I perhaps... I know this is a library, but if no one uses it or understands it, could I perhaps find a way to buy this book off you?
Well, sure. Do you have 25 gold?
Yes, I have.
I'll
I can
sell it
afford
for
25.
that.
I'll go ahead and hand him 25 gold then.
All right, so he'll do the transaction. Honestly, no one's going to read that book. I have no use for it. So yes, have at it. Enjoy.
And, well, since I now bought it, could you disable the tracking rune on
Oh,
it?
yes, definitely. He waves his hands on it, and you see the rune sort of diminish. The shadow, I know Jeff will most likely want to keep his book, so he does the same incantation. Does Shadow want to keep her tabaxi books that she found?
Or what kind of lore was it?
Grooming and cat toys, pretty much.
Nah.
Okay, so you hand back the books, and
I don't. Shadow thinks that maybe that level of grooming is not particularly useful for her.
Very well. And then well, it was very nice getting to meet all of you, and my proposition before you leave. You all seem to be travelers, probably well-versed in the world. If at any point in time during your visit to Cragstorm that you wish to tell me some tales, I would be very happy to listen and write them down, for I am writing a book about adventuring in the world. And obviously, your insights as adventurers would be of great help to me. But only if you wish. If the book ends up being a major hit, I can promise you compensation. Otherwise, I can't pay you.
Very well. I'll keep that in mind.
Okay. Let's see. All right. So with that, you guys sort of exit the library, and then Shadow points down the main road and tells you guys that the tavern is that way. So I will assume you guys are heading that way, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys start walking down. Let's see. I want to play a different song.
With my eyes of the Arcanist, did I see like a particular title of this book?
No. It was like the outer portion of the tome was pretty rough to where you couldn't see any special runes or anything. Anything that may have been there had been washed away with the times.
Okay, I'm just gonna call it Nagek's history book, just for my own
Yeah.
personal like inventory.
All right, so you guys are walking down the street, and once you get to the tavern, oh, this is not the song I wanted. Once you guys get into the tavern, you approach the front doors and you see waiting outside your friend Anara. She has been waiting outside for who knows how long, but as you guys approach, she takes off her mask and unhoods her cloak and looks at you all. Well, that took you guys quite a long time. What did you find?
Well, I didn't want to mention it at a library since there. Well, actually, hold on. Before I say that, is there? Can I do like perception? Anyone around?
Yeah, you look around and there's a fair amount of people that are walking to and from, being right outside of the tavern and the gate. This is a pretty busy area. People are coming and going from the tavern as the evening starts to begin for whatever delights and pleasures they seek.
All right, I'll just say this then. Well, I myself found a rather curious book that I'd rather discuss privately.
Nothing about the Martillos or Caseros or what could have happened to Octa?
Unfortunately, not too much about what could have happened to Octa. We did learn a little bit about the family statuses within Cragstorm, and something that they potentially might want to do with Octa, but nothing guaranteed.
Very good. That, with the information I have, will probably serve us well. She comes across her sending stone. I believe Octa is being held in the bordello.
In the what?
The bordello?
Bordello?
Yeah.
In
I
like,
cannot confirm.
Back with the sending stone, what do you, any idea what they might want to do to her in the bordello?
More than likely, from what I can tell, is there Casero is known for his bordello in these parts because there is a wide variety of escorts that you can purchase for the night. So Octa probably, for whatever reason, was fitting the bill, and that's why they are trying to, I guess, persuade her to work for them. But I don't believe, from what I've heard, that anyone is ever forced to do it. Eventually, from what I've been told by the guards, is everyone comes around to agreeing to the terms. And if that is true, then that means she's being held somewhere until she agrees to the terms herself.
That sounds like force or extortion. If that's the right word I'm thinking of.
Coercion.
Coercion. Yeah, there we go.
She then starts to walk towards the door. Let us all get a drink, shall we? We need to blend in.
Yeah, I'll proceed.
Okay. So you all kind of follow her into the tavern. Let's see. All right. So as you guys walk into the tavern, it's pretty busy. There's quite a few folks. Everybody is either eating, drinking, or dancing and singing. There is a group of musicians on a stage that are playing some lovely tunes as everybody is pretty much talking over them, so you can't really hear what they're playing. But you guys see an empty table that can accommodate you all. Then you have a seat, and as you sit down, there is a lady that comes over. What are you drinking or eating?
Let's see. What all do you serve for drinks?
Oh, we have everything that you could think of. We got ales. We've got mead. One of our best is a let's see, what did I? The tankard of bitter. It's a nice, dark, smooth ale. Really pikes up your taste, especially when you start to bite into our bison stew. Other than that, it's your wide variety of wines and watered down beer.
How much does the meat cost?
The bison stew will cost you about 2 silver pieces.
And the mead?
The meat will be 5 silver pieces. It's what we're known for.
I guess I'll try out your bison stew and have 1 order of mead.
Very well. Anybody else care for anything?
Can Tabaxi have milk?
Very well. 1 silver piece, please. And then
And
Nara
bison
will
stew.
and bison stew. 3 silver piece.
Tabaxi will hand her 3 silver piece.
Okay. Everybody else sort of orders the bison stew and a regular tankard of mead. So everybody would end up paying about 5 silver pieces for their meal, except for Tabaxi. Tabaxi only pay 3.
Wait, you said it was 5 for mead, 2 for stew, though, right?
Yeah.
That'd be 7. Yeah.
Math is hard.
Oh, just making sure.
So Jeff paid 7. Adeline pays 7. Oh,
I already did 7 on mine.
Cool. So she goes down to the back, and you can see her shouting out the order to the chef. Then she goes to the front of the bar and starts to fill up the mead and the bowl of milk. And she brings it over and puts it on the table. Now, if you need anything, my name is Sarah, and I'll be happy to help you.
That sounds good.
Okay, so Sarah walks away, and then you guys are all kind of just sitting there, hanging out. Adeline is sipping his mead. You know, I've never tried mead until now, and it is
Oh no.
pretty delicious.
Adeline's gonna be about to get fucking drunk.
Now, if I were to not completely give my sending stone to Shadow, but if like Shadow were to be
Holding it with you?
like maintaining
Yeah, it would
contact with that, okay. I'll tell Shadow to maintain contact with the stone, and I'm gonna be sipping the mead, show myself occupied, but be speaking through the stone.
All right.
Okay.
I just let the party know. This book I found, it appears to be written in some ancient elven tongue, and it appears to be a history book praising the elves' exterior. However, within the book are a lot of runes that speak a different story. There's a lot of information on Nagex in here, information that whoever wrote it didn't want the average eye to see. I will need to read this book further, but there might be some very critical information in here. Some deadly information at that.
Jeff kind of thinks over his stone. Yeah, I'll help you read it. Actually, Shadow helped you read it. What did Shadow find? Anything specific like that?
Well, that's what I was saying. On the whatever the language is, it speaks highly of the elven race, but that's for outside eyes to see. What I saw was different. There's a secret message within the book that reads a different story.
Very bizarre.
Because what Shadow was reading, what I was reading, were two completely different stories.
Yeah, we will have to look into that further, no doubt. Inara thinks over to hers, but that can wait until we find Octa.
Also, I would have let Arnara know about Nishan having to go do business with his master.
Yeah, makes sense. So as you guys are sort of drinking and speaking through your sending stones, Sarah comes back over and she hands out all the bison stew to everybody. Now, make sure you eat up. I don't want to see those bowls with with a drop left. And then she walks away to help the other patrons. So, as you guys are all eating, you notice that Inara hasn't touched her mead yet. All of you would notice this.
Any particular reason you're not drinking?
Well, typically I don't drink, and I'm not very comfortable in this town.
I understand. I merely am drinking the one just to act casual.
Well,
Shadow is scarfing down her meal.
so she kind of looks around and says, "This town doesn't seem to be very welcoming of strangers, and we definitely are strangers to this town." As she continues to eat, the door opens and a kind of loud, obnoxious group of folks comes in. And as a couple burly dudes come through, another gentleman that you guys met earlier, Firo.
Oh no.
Firo walks through the door. Ah, Sarah! My favorite bar wench! Why is he Irish now? God damn it, hold on. How you doing? There we go. Still sounds a little Irish. God damn it. Anyway, he walks in, and they go and sit at a table that's on the other side. Inara sort of glances at you all and says, "That man was following me while I was looking through the Cosero's territory."
Yes, we met up with him earlier at at one of the general shops. He was forcing the man to pay up his dues for protection, as he worded it. I'm not fond of the man myself.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
Well, we'll need to keep an eye on him for sure. But we should definitely keep a low profile. She starts to sip her soup, and one of the gentlemen from Firo's table stands up and starts walking towards the bar. And he curiously looks at you all, and as his eyes set on Inara, you see his eyebrows raise. He looks back towards the bar, and he goes to talk, and you see as he's making speech with whoever's on the other side, he keeps pointing at y'all's table, and
Am I seeing him?
yeah,
Uh,
that's what I was describing. What you're
right,
seeing.
well, I'm saying that though because I have observant feet, and if as long as I can see them, I can kind of interpret what they're saying by reading their lips.
Oh, you would see his back, and you occasionally see him point towards you guys looking back. So you see his back, so you can't read his lips or anything. And then whatever the lady is saying, you watch her lips, and you make out the words, I don't know who they are. I've never seen them before. And then at that point, he tosses up a silver piece to her and grabs a goblet of ale and makes his way over to y'all's table. And he stands over it and he's like, "Oh, some newcomers. Welcome to Cragstorm. A toast to all of you." And he holds out his goblet, hoping that you toast with him.
Shadow will toast with her bowl of milk.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
with the sending stone, I'll just tell them, well, may as well just try to act normal and blend in for now, and I'll raise my cup.
GF also toasts.
Okay, so everyone goes in and toasts. And then, mind if I have a seat with you? Don't worry, I won't be long.
I see no issue.
Very well. He sort of sits right next to Nara. You guys look like you're not from around here. Where you coming from? He looks at each of you. Every time he looks at Anara, though, he maintains eye contact on her for a couple seconds more than the rest of you. And you guys would all pick up on this as you talk to him in the conversation.
Right. What I'm thinking, is there like a way that I could sit to be like in a ready position, like without giving myself away? Like, is there a way I could like kind of be like ready if I had to like make a sudden motion?
Do you mind drawing out our current orientation?
I don't know what your current orientation would be, but let's say that
Around the table?
Let's say that Anara is on the edge. Oswald would be right. I guess I should color code it. Oswald is the red. Jeff would be. Jeff would probably be sitting right here. Adeline would be right here. And Shadow would be right here. And the gentleman is right in between Shadow and Anara. So yeah, you sort of position yourself to where you've got the balls of your feet ready to stand up at a moment's notice. You've got your hips in a way to where if you had to unsheath your sword, you would be able to do so with ease. So yeah, where are y'all all coming from? We don't get many adventurers, and when we do, they don't typically pay the fee to get inside. So I'd like to know your story. Oh, come on, don't be shy.
I mean,
Oh, I was
sorry.
I was muted there for a second. Sorry, my bad.
I can't really describe the Irish part too well myself.
Oh, I just if you guys don't mind, I'll try to talk to him.
Sure.
I say, hey, we're just in the area. We came from Iris, and we heard that a large exodus of people were coming out this way, and we were interested when we came down.
Oh, right on, right on. So news of our little thing going on is starting to reach other parts of the world, are they?
Yes, a lot of people, not all together, but many caravans were leaving to go north to seek refuge elsewhere because they were being kicked out of the city or they couldn't afford the fee, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's a damn shame. That's they've been trying to figure out what's going on, but obviously it's been going on for a lot longer than I've been around, and it's just getting worse and worse, isn't it? He takes a sip of his glass. But where exactly are you all coming from? And he looks at Anara specifically, and she just keeps her head down.
Well, a bit of here, a bit of there. We all just recently met each other not too long ago, and I've been just traveling ever since. Like I come from the Far East myself.
Oh, very nice, an Eastlander. Kat,
Yes.
what about you?
Tabaxi is not sure where she's from.
Damn shame. You know what? I'll pay for your meal since you have no idea where you come from. That's a sad story. Sad tale. What about you, Paladin? I come from forest, where I was saved by my god. Gods, I don't care about them, but I'm glad that you found one. That's good, that's good. And what about you there, fighter?
Yeah, I'm Eastlander as well.
And I'm sure you all know where Anara comes from. And he pats her on the back. It's good to see you again, Anara. And she kind of looks and she doesn't say anything. Oh, that's no way to treat me. I work with your uncle after all. You know Borvik. He's been waiting for you to come back home. He'll be happy to hear that you've made it.
I think to Anara, do you know this man?
She thinks back to you. Yeah, he's bad news.
Oh, so we want to get out of here ASAP, or what's going on? We just play it cool. What do we do?
We'll have to act as he acts, so hopefully nothing ends up happening, so just try to play it cool.
I ask real fast.
Yeah, go for it.
Is your uncle a safe place or no? Or a safe person to be around or no?
No.
Okay. Well, just we'll play by your lead.
So he pats her on the back. Oh, he's going to be so happy that you actually came. We've been searching for you for quite a while now, and sure enough, here you come. But don't worry, I'll let him know that you're in town. But it was very nice to meet all of you. He throws a platinum piece into the middle of the table, and he says, Sarah, if you could, I want to pay for anything that they need. Rooms, beer, drinks, all of it. Everything that they get on my tab. And if I end up not paying enough, go ahead and let me know tomorrow. And he stands up. Well, you guys all have a wonderful night now. I've got a doctor's appointment that I got to get to. Bye. And as he walks out, you can see there are a couple very hefty, muscular gentlemen that are bouncers, pretty much. They make sure the peace is kept. He goes up, and you can see him whisper into the ear of one of them and then slip a few coins into his pocket, and then he walks out of the tavern.
Well, again, was he facing away from me when you did that little whisper?
Correct.
Okay.
So Shadow is going to order as much food as she can fit into her stomach, having
I
never
think-
had this opportunity before.
I think to Anara, do we want to take this hospitality, or would that be ill-advised?
She thinks back and says something along the lines of, in all honesty, if I'm seen with you guys, that's just going to bring more trouble to you. So I think after tonight, we will have to speak with each other in the shadows. But for now, it's best if I probably do what I do best and disappear.
Well,
Wait,
that guy already has our faces, so I doubt.
But he's not here
separating.
for you. He's here for me.
That's not true. However, the fact that he knows we are traveling together, we've already made ourselves targets. So there's no point in trying to keep too much distance from us.
Well, see it your way, but I will do what I know best. After all, this is my hometown.
Very well. Do you plan to stay the night here, or do you plan to disappear before then?
Oh, I'll be gone before you guys can blink. I mean, not right now. I'm not that good, but I'm pretty good.
Well, it seems based on him tipping the guard or bouncer, he plans to keep an eye on us when we leave, more than likely.
True, so if you guys could just play it cool, I'll be right back. And she stands up with her empty bowl in her hand, and she pours the mead onto the floor and goes up to the desk or the bar, and she hands over her dirty stuff, and they take it back, and then you see them exchanging words, but Anara's back is turned to you guys, and then she holds out a key, gives it to Anara, and Anara starts to head upstairs. As she gets midway up there, her hood pops over her head, and once she gets to the top of the stairs, you can hear her whisper in the sending zone, I'll keep the stone on me, and we'll be able to communicate from whenever I see you guys, but Don't go looking for me.
I ask her, does she want to take back the amulet in case they will try to track her magically, so she can't be detected?
We can exchange it later. For now, I just got to get out of here.
No, I mean, like to prevent them from catching you, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll have to do it later. If I
Oh,
come back
okay.
down, it's too suspicious.
Okay.
Hold on. Do we have the same room or do we have different rooms?
You gave your other room that you just bought.
No,
to Shadow.
room. Like
Oh, no, it'll all be different rooms.
Is there anyone else following her upstairs?
Not at this moment, no.
Well, if you want, you could sit it down, and I'll head up to my room right now and pick it up on the way.
Or Jeff has got the amulet.
Oh, he has it. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought they.
No, she's not with.
Jeff
she
made
already, she already
sure
left.
that he got it. No, she had
Yes.
already head upstairs by the time that you had started making that suggestion. Inara comes back over. Don't worry about it now. I'm already outside. You guys take care of yourselves. And then you just hear silence besides the roaring of voices around the room. And with that, that is where we will end tonight's session.
Okay.
So let me end my stream real quick, and then I'll be right back. So I appreciate everyone coming out for the first stream in a long time. Should not be the last stream for a long time. I do have to fix a couple things with my stream, I think, when it comes, because for whatever reason I can't type in the chat and I can't see my chat. So hopefully no one was watching and trying to talk because I didn't see it. I'm not rude, I'm sorry. But until next time, peace!